up the Wars. Yes, the Warriors get it done on Barry Charles Footy Show today. We're going to look at Leka Halasima, the next Ali Lauiti'iti. Douehi, they're letting him go, and he is the gun player for the Tigers this season. What's doing there? Benji on the ropes. Rugby league is in turmoil with this last tackle play where you can't tackle the player. A simple touch and you're gone. All this and more right here, right now on your favorite rugby league channel, Barry Charles Footy Show. Let's get to it. Yes, wow, what a Sunday to remember. Well, the final minutes of the game for sure. In both games, unbelievable how the Tigers somehow, Adam Douehi gets it done. The Titans should have won. The Knights should have won. But they both ended up losing, and their season is in tatters. Wooden spoon for the Titans for sure. I can't see anything else happening there. They are gone burger. The Tigers will finally raise from the bottom and only go up a couple of steps, but they won't be bottom in 2025. But yes, Adam Douehi gets it done, and they don't want him. Unbelievable. How could you let go Adam Douehi? Unbelievable. He's been in his best footy, hardly injured this year, and they're getting rid of him. I just don't know what's happening there. It's absolute madness. Benji again. I don't know. It looks like it's rabble. But Taylor May, exciting for the Tigers. At least they got something out of it. But whether he continues their form, we will see. Going back to the Warriors, yes, Leka Halasima, is he the next Ali Lauiti'iti? No doubt about it in my mind. Ali Lauiti'iti is the man. But Leka, at this stage, is going to be better. Ali Lauiti'iti, we didn't get to see the best of him because he was kicked out of the curb by Daniel Anderson at the time. They didn't get along. See you later. But if Leka Halasima stays at the Warriors and doesn't get kicked off like a Katoa and the likes, or Leka, he could be one of the best we've ever seen in the Warriors jumper. Absolutely. Only a few people could score the try he did. It was unbelievable. Tanner Boy choked at the end of the game. There is no doubt about it. He missed the field goals. He missed the kick right in front. I know it was, but you got to nail those ones. And although he's a good goal kicker, when you miss that one right in front, he just cracked under the pressure. And when it comes to finals football, that is a big concern for the Warriors. Tanner Boy cracking under the pressure. Hopefully he can go to another level, but that is a question mark over the Warriors going forward if he's cracking under the pressure here against the Knights, when he's taking on the likes of the Bulldogs, the Raiders, the Storm, the Panthers. It's another kettle of fish. So big pressure on there, but Leka Halasima, the Warriors somehow got out of jail there. They deserve to lose the game. There's just no doubt about it. Whatever you say, the same with the Tigers. They both were the worst team on the day, but they somehow got out with the victory. So congratulations to the both of them. But getting back to this other rubbish at the moment here in the rugby league, is this last tackle play when you just cannot touch the player. It's absolutely pathetic. I'm telling you now, if I was Katoa, if I was Cleary on the last, I'd just be running it every time, because they're not allowed to tackle you. It's the way it is. They're not allowed to tackle you, and if they're just about to tackle you, just put a kick in, and then you go, oh, you get a penalty. That's what they should just do every play now. Just run hard, boom, break the gap, because the guy will just fall asleep, and away we go from there. That's just absolute tiddlywinks we're playing these days. And for the people back in the 80s and 90s, that they just cannot believe, or even further back in there. But this footy now is just absolutely not the same game we used to watch. Absolute rubbish. This is just pathetic, and not being able to lay hands on them. I understand when they're in the air and you tackle them blatantly, dangerously. But when it's a little tap of the leg and all this, and it's a penalty, that's just rubbish. It shouldn't be in the game. And what about the call? What about the calls? The Warriors got some bad calls and they still won. There was a strip that wasn't called up, and I don't know why the Warriors didn't play that one, because there was clearly a strip. The Warriors, there was a knock on, there wasn't a knock on. There was sometimes the Warriors knocked on, but I'm just saying there was a few blatant ones that went the Warriors' way, and the try waiting. It's a try every day of the week. And then on the other side of the thing, was it a try for the Knights? He was tackled, but then Again, if you're looking at the letters of the law, his hand was up. You can offload. That has been the rule, so I'll probably have to renege on that one. But in the old Squid footy, there was no try. When you stopped, your momentum stopped, you can't pass the ball. But in this day and age, you can, as long as your arm doesn't ball carrying arm's not touching the ground. That's but yes, that's just a blight on the game at the moment. But let's have a look right now at where teams sit on this ladder. Let's have a look at this to wrap this video. Let's try and wrap every team's chances going into the finals. Raiders, number one. They are finishing number one. That is an absolute guarantee. Raiders will be number one to finish the season. They are done and dusted and won. After that, it gets very, very, very murky. Very murky. I'm tipping the Storm to get second, but they blew their chances against Manly on the weekend, which really will make life interesting, and it helps out the likes of the Bulldogs and the Warriors. The Bulldogs are getting it done as well. I was expecting the Storm to get second, but they could be curtails with the Bulldogs getting the win as well. The Bulldogs do have a tough run home. There's a chance also for the Warriors to get second. They've got the draw to get it done, and hoping for a few results to go the wrong way. And then they happened with the Storm losing, and it was nearly happened with the Bulldogs, but the Dragons couldn't quite hold on. But yes, in terms of rounds, I think the top four is done and dusted. It's not fully done and dusted, obviously, because Penrith and Broncos, if either of those teams can just win every game, if they win every single game from here, they'll put big pressure on, because that means the teams, or Storm and the Warriors, Storm for and against will keep them there, but the Warriors more, if they lose two in a row and one of the team wins two, they will drop down the ladder. That's the problem with the Warriors for and against. It's 8th best in the comp. That's what it is. The Warriors, 8th best in the comp. Attacking wise, they just haven't been enough, the Warriors. The Warriors have been in games where they probably should have blown teams apart, and they just haven't been able to. But at least they're winning. Now, if it was Steve Kearney's era, they would have been losing these games. That's just the difference. It's unlucky, because Steve Kearney probably wasn't a bad coach, but he just couldn't get the wins. It's like what Adam O'Brien's going through this year. His team have been losing a lot of close games, and they're not there. So, but we're going to get to those shortly. But in terms of, I think the top six is settled. I think Brisbane and Penrith probably be there. The Sharks are probably the enigma, but they still aren't a guarantee. But Manly winning that game really puts them in. I really think you just about could say the top 8 is done and dusted with who's in there. The only team that can push themselves in is the Dolphins. They're the only team. Dolphins are the other team in the running. That's it. The Roosters are chooked. They are cooked. They are chooked, whatever you want to call it. Their run home is too hard. They obviously they can make it, but they're going to have to upset some teams to get there, and I don't think they will. So you can roll a line between the Roosters and below, so we're down to 9. But the Roosters are technically still on. But the rest of the teams have to win all their games below them, and they're not going to do it. So see you later, alligators. But games for those coaches that to be sacked. Who's going to be sacked first? Well, it's looking more and more likely it'll be Desi Hasler, unless they think he's the man for the job, but I don't think so. Not after the spray. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in the next few days that Des Hasler's out the door, because they are, I'm pretty sure, officially out of the running of making the top 8 now. So Des Hasler should be gone the next couple of weeks. Adam O'Brien, will he go? You would think so. You would think he would go, but then who's going to come in? That is the biggest question. Is there actually anyone much better than him? That is probably the debatable question at the moment. He's done a pretty good job, but he obviously hasn't gone to the next level like Brad Arthur and the likes, and other coaches around them. But he's been very solid. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. Todd Payton, question mark. He may get another year. Who knows? Benji Marshall, he'll save for another year. I think he's safe for another year with their victory, not the wooden spoon. I think he'll survive this year, but he's going to have to do something next year. That's for sure. And then Seabold, well, he'll be safe, I think, for this year, but after the next year, who knows? And yeah, well, again, is Cherry Evans going to retire? Is he going to retire, folks? I think that's the story around the books. Is he actually going to retire or go to the Roosters? we will see. It's all happening in the rugby league circles. But anyway, that's Bear Charles Footy Show for this episode. I'll be back with